Before 47 witnesses. I heard my mother tell me I wasn't good enough to be called her real daughter. I'm Jessica, and I'm 30 years old. I work as a marketing manager for a tech startup in Seattle, and for the past 3 years, I've been climbing the corporate ladder with everything I had. My life was exactly where I wanted it to be. Successful career, amazing apartment in Capitol Hill, a tight circle of friends who actually valued my time. But there was one part of my life that never quite fit into that picture of success, and that was my family. I'm the youngest of 3 sisters. Amanda is 35, married to Mike, and they have 3 kids. Sophie is 8, Emma is 6, and Noah is 5. Rachel is 33, married to Tom, and they have Lily who's 4 and Max who's 2. Then there's me. No husband, no kids, just a career that I've poured my heart into. And according to my mother Linda, that made me less of a daughter than my sisters. My father Robert never said much about it. He'd sit there at family dinners, nodding along while my mom gushed about Amanda's homemade cookies or Rachel's decision to go part-time at her job to spend more time with the kids. When the conversation turned to me, it was always brief. Jessica's still doing that marketing thing. That's how she'd describe years of my hard work and promotions. But I tried. God, I tried so hard to be part of this family. Every birthday party for my nieces and nephews, I was there with thoughtful gifts. Every school play, every soccer game where my sisters needed an extra set of hands to wrangle the kids, I'd rearrange my work schedule to help. I thought maybe if I showed up enough, proved myself useful enough, they'd see me as more than just the career-obsessed sister who chose work over family. 3 months before my mother's 60th birthday, Amanda called me. Jess, we're planning something big for Mom's birthday. A 7-day Caribbean cruise, all of us together. I felt something warm spread through my chest. A family vacation. Finally, maybe this was my chance to really connect with everyone, to show them that I could be fun, that I was more than just the aunt who helped out when needed. Of course, I told her. I'll put in for the time off tomorrow. This sounds amazing. Perfect, Amanda said. We'll talk details at Sunday dinner this week. Mom's going to be so excited. I spent the next 2 days researching the cruise line, looking up excursions in each port, imagining conversations with my mom while we watched the sunset over the ocean, bonding time with my sisters, without the chaos of their daily routines getting in the way. I even started a Pinterest board of outfit ideas for tropical formal nights. Sunday dinner was at Bella Rosa, this fancy Italian restaurant my mother loved. The kind of place with cloth napkins and waiters who describe every dish like it's a piece of art. My father had reserved a private dining room in the back, the one with the murky chandelier and the big round table that sat 12. I got there early, wearing a navy blue dress I'd bought specifically for the occasion. I wanted to look put together. Wanted them to see me as someone who belonged at this table. Planning this special trip, my sisters arrived with their families in tow. The kids were dressed up, which meant they were already squirming in their seats within 5 minutes. Sophie kept asking when the food was coming. Noah was trying to build a fort out of the bread basket. Baby Max was fussing in Rachel's arms. Jess, can you take Max for a bit? Rachel asked before she'd even sat down. My arms are killing me. I took Max and bounced him on my knee while everyone settled in. Mike and Tom were talking about some football game. Amanda was trying to stop Emma from playing with the candles on the table. My mother sat at the head of the table in a burgundy dress, her hair freshly done, looking every bit the matriarch holding court. My father stood up once everyone had their drinks. He tapped his wine glass with a fork, and the table quieted down. We're here tonight to talk about a very special celebration, he said. Linda's 60th birthday is coming up, and we wanted to do something memorable. My mother's face lit up. She loved being the center of attention. Amanda picked up where my father left off. We've booked a 7-day Caribbean cruise for the whole family. We leave 3 weeks from this Friday. The table erupted in excitement. The kids started asking about the pool on the ship. Mike and Tom were already talking about the sports bar they'd read about in the ship's brochure. My mother had tears in her eyes. This is too much, she said, but she was beaming. I felt that warmth again. This was really happening. A whole week with my family, a chance to finally feel like I belonged. Rachel pulled out a folder with all the cruise details. So, we've got the cabin sorted out. Mike and Amanda are in cabin 8042, with Sophie, Emma, and Noah. Tom and I are in 8044 with Lily and Max. Mom and Dad are in the honeymoon suite on the upper deck. I waited for her to mention my cabin. And we've booked cabin 8040 for all the kids to share, Rachel continued. It's got bunk beds and it's right between our two cabins, so it'll be perfect. Wait, I said. Max was still bouncing on my knee. Where am I staying? Rachel looked at Amanda. Amanda looked at my mother. Well, honey, my mother said, her voice taking on that saccharine tone she used when she was about to say something I wouldn't like. We figured you could stay in cabin 8040. With the kids, it's a big room, and you're so good with them. The warmth in my chest turned cold. I'm sharing a cabin with 5 kids under 8 years old? Someone has to, Amanda said matter-of-factly. And you don't have your own family to share with, so it just made sense. The words hit me like a slap. I looked around the table. Mike was studying his menu. Tom was checking his phone. My father was refilling his wine glass. No one was looking at me. I thought this was a family vacation, I said slowly. It is, my mother said. That's why we need you there. The kids adore you. And this way, Amanda and Rachel can actually enjoy the trip. You know how exhausting it is to travel with children. So I'm not going as family, I said. I'm going as a babysitter. Don't be dramatic, Jessica, Rachel said. We all help each other out. That's what family does. I felt something crack inside my chest. When do I get to enjoy the trip? Amanda sighed. Jess, you don't have kids. You don't understand how rare it is for us to get a break. Mike and I have been looking forward to this for months. We've already booked spa appointments and couples excursions. You can't expect us to give that up. I'm not asking you to give anything up, I said. I'm asking why I'm the only one who doesn't get a vacation on this vacation. My mother set down her wine glass. The sound of it hitting the table was sharp in the suddenly quiet room. Jessica Marie, she said, using my full name the way she did when I was a child being scolded. I am trying to celebrate my 60th birthday with my family. My real family. The daughters who gave me grandchildren. The daughters who understand what it means to put family first instead of chasing some career that keeps you too busy to visit your own mother. The crack in my chest split wide open. Real family? My voice came out smaller than I wanted it to. You know what I mean, my mother said. Amanda and Rachel, they've made me so proud. They've given me beautiful grandchildren. They've built lives around what really matters. You. She waved her hand vaguely in my direction. You're always so busy with work. Your priorities are different. And that's fine, Jessica. We accept that. But it also means you have more free time than your sisters. You don't have kids to take care of. So yes, we're asking you to help out on this trip. Is that really so unreasonable? I looked at my sisters. Amanda was cutting Noah's bread into small pieces. Rachel was wiping something off Lily's face. Neither of them would meet my eyes. So, to be clear, I said, I'm invited on this cruise to watch 5 children while you all enjoy spa days and romantic excursions. And I should be grateful for this because I chose a career over motherhood, which makes me less of a real daughter. Now you're twisting my words, my mother said. Am I? My father finally spoke up. Jessica, your mother didn't mean it like that. Then how did she mean it, Dad? He didn't answer. Amanda leaned forward. Look, Jess, we've already planned everything. We've booked the cabins, paid the deposits. The kids are excited. You're not going to ruin Mom's birthday over this, are you? And there it was. The trap. If I said no, I was the selfish daughter who ruined our mother's milestone birthday. If I said yes, I was agreeing that my time, my vacation days, my entire week, was worth less than theirs, because I didn't have children. I sat there holding Max, this sweet baby who didn't understand any of the ugly undercurrent at this table, and I thought about every birthday party I'd attended, every time I'd rearranged my schedule, every Christmas, where I'd been asked to entertain the kids while the adults talked, every family dinner where my accomplishments were glossed over in favor of hearing about Sophie's school project or Noah's soccer goal. I thought about the group text I'd discovered by accident 2 months ago. It was called Real Family Cruise Planning. Amanda, Rachel, Mike, Tom, and my parents were all in it. I wasn't. I'd only seen it because Amanda's phone was face up on my kitchen counter when she dropped by to have me babysit last month, and a message had come through. "Make sure Jess doesn't know about the adults-only excursions," the message from my mother had said. "She'll just get upset if she knows she's not invited." I'd said nothing at the time. I'd taken Sophie and Emma for the afternoon like I'd promised and tried to convince myself I was being paranoid. But now, sitting at this table in this expensive restaurant, hearing my mother call my sisters her real family, I understood. This wasn't paranoia. This was years of being treated as lesser, as other, as the family member who existed to serve, but not to belong. I stood up. Max started to fuss without my knee to bounce on, and I handed him back to Rachel. "Where are you going?" my mother asked. "We haven't even ordered dinner yet." "I need some air," I said. "Jessica, don't make a scene," Amanda hissed. But I was already walking toward the door of the private dining room. My hands were shaking. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I made it to the restaurant's lobby before Amanda caught up with me. "Jess, come on. You're being ridiculous." I turned to face her. "Am I? Tell me the truth, Amanda. Did Mom really call you and Rachel her real daughters in there?" Amanda's face flushed. She didn't mean it the way it sounded. "Then how did she mean it?" "She meant." Amanda struggled. "She meant that we have kids. That we understand what she went through raising us. That we're living the kind of life she values. And I'm not. You chose your career, Jess. That's fine. But don't act surprised when there are consequences to that choice." I stared at my sister. This woman I'd grown up with, shared a room with for 10 years, defended on the playground when other kids were mean to her. This woman who called me every time she needed a last-minute babysitter but never called just to see how I was doing. "The consequence of having a career is that I'm not real family?" "That's not what I said. It's what Mom said. And you didn't correct her." Amanda crossed her arms. "What do you want me to say, Jess? That I'm going to stand up to Mom at her own birthday dinner? That I'm going to risk upsetting her over you being sensitive about babysitting? I want you to acknowledge that this is wrong. That treating me like free labor instead of your sister is wrong. It's 1 week, Jessica. 1 week out of your whole year. You can afford to help us out." "Why is it always me who has to help out? When do you help me?" Amanda laughed. It was sharp and bitter. "Help you with what? Your career? You've made it very clear you don't need any of us. You've got your fancy job, and your nice apartment, and your child-free life. What could we possibly offer you?" The answer was so obvious it hurt. "How about treating me like I matter?" Amanda's expression softened slightly. "You do matter, Jess. You're my sister. But Mom's right. You don't have kids. You don't understand what it's like to be exhausted all the time, to never get a break. This cruise is our chance to finally relax. Can't you just be happy for us?" "I would be happy for you if you weren't using me to make it happen." "We're not using you. We're asking for help. Family helps family." "Then help me understand something," I said. "If we're family, why wasn't I included in the group chat where you all planned this cruise? Why did Mom specifically tell you not to let me know about the adults-only excursions?" Amanda's face went pale. "How do you know about that?" "I saw the message on your phone. 2 months ago when I was babysitting for you." "Jess, that was..." She struggled for words. "That was just so we could plan the surprise parts." "Don't lie to me, Amanda, please. We both know what this is." She looked back toward the private dining room. Through the frosted glass door, I could see the shadows of our family around the table. My mother was probably wondering what was taking so long. Rachel was probably getting annoyed that she had to deal with both her kids while we were out here. "What do you want me to say?" Amanda finally asked. "I want you to admit that you don't see me as equal to you. That in this family, I'm less important because I chose a different life." "Jess, say it." She couldn't. She stood there, looking at me with something that might have been pity or might have been guilt, and she couldn't say the words, but I could see the truth in her eyes. I pulled out my phone. I opened my calendar and looked at the week I'd marked off for the cruise. 3 weeks from now. 7 days of my life I'd planned to spend being treated like the help. I deleted the calendar entry. "What are you doing?" Amanda asked. "I quit." "What?" "I quit being your backup parent. I quit being the family babysitter. I quit pretending that it's okay for you all to treat me like I'm less than because I don't have kids. Jessica, you can't just... I can. I am. Go back in there and tell Mom to find someone else to watch her grandchildren on her precious cruise. I won't be there. Amanda's eyes went wide. You're really going to do this? You're going to ruin Mom's birthday? I'm not ruining anything. You have 3 weeks to hire a nanny to come on the cruise with you. I'm sure there are services that do that. Or, and here's a radical idea, you and Rachel and your husbands could actually parent your own children on the vacation you planned. Jess, please. Mom will be so upset. Then maybe Mom should have thought about that before she called me not real family in front of everyone. I turned to leave. Amanda grabbed my arm. If you walk out now, there's no coming back from this. You know that, right? Mom will never forgive you. I looked down at her hand on my arm, then back up at her face. Good, I said. Maybe it's time I stopped trying to earn forgiveness for the crime of living my own life. I pulled my arm free and walked out of Bella Rosa. The cool Seattle evening air hit my face, and for the first time in hours, I could breathe. I didn't go home right away. I walked through Pike Place Market even though most of the stalls were closing. I walked down to the waterfront and watched the ferries come in. I sat on a bench and watched the city lights reflect off the dark water, and I let myself feel everything I'd been pushing down for years. The hurt, the anger, the grief for a family that never quite saw me the way I needed them to. My phone started buzzing. First Amanda, then Rachel, then my mother, then my father. I let every call go to voicemail. When I finally got home around 10 p.m., I had 23 missed calls and 47 text messages. I didn't read them. I poured myself a glass of wine, opened my laptop, and did something I'd been fantasizing about for 3 months but never thought I'd actually do. I booked a trip to Japan. Solo, 7 days, the same week as my mother's cruise. A boutique hotel in Kyoto, a ryokan in Hakone with a private onsen. 2 days in Tokyo exploring neighborhoods I'd been wanting to see since college. All of it just for me. The total came to $3,200. I stared at the number for a long time. It was more than I'd usually spend on a vacation. But then I thought about all the birthday presents I'd bought for nieces and nephews, all the last-minute babysitting I'd done for free, all the times I'd given up my weekends to help my sisters while they went on date nights. I clicked Confirm Booking. The confirmation email arrived in my inbox at 10:47 p.m. I took a screenshot and sent it to the family group chat, the one I was actually included in. The one that was mostly used to coordinate who was bringing what to Thanksgiving. I won't be able to make Mom's cruise, I typed. I'll be in Japan. Have a wonderful time. I turned off my phone before I could see their responses. The next 3 weeks were a blur. My family tried everything to get me to change my mind. My mother called my office 4 times before I asked my assistant to screen her calls. Rachel showed up at my apartment building twice. The second time, building security had to escort her out after she refused to leave the lobby. The emails were the worst. Long, rambling messages from my mother about disappointment and selfishness and how I was breaking her heart. Shorter, angrier messages from Amanda about how I was forcing them to scramble for childcare. Even a brief note from my father that simply said, "Your mother is very hurt. Please reconsider." I read them all once, then set up a filter to automatically archive anything from their email addresses. I didn't block them. I just chose not to let their words reach me anymore. My friends were incredible. When I told them what had happened over drinks the week after the restaurant incident, every single one of them supported my decision. My best friend Morgan said something that stuck with me. "Jess, I've watched you bend over backward for these people for years. And every time you do, they expect more. That's not love. That's exploitation." She was right. I knew she was right. But knowing it didn't make it hurt less. The Friday my family left for their cruise, I flew to Tokyo. I'd never traveled internationally alone before. I was terrified. What if I got lost? What if I couldn't navigate the language barrier? What if I'd made a huge mistake throwing away my family over one argument? But then I landed at Narita, and I made it through customs, and I figured out the train system to get to my hotel in Shinjuku. And when I dropped my bags in my tiny, perfect hotel room and looked out the window at the neon-lit streets below, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Freedom. I spent the next 7 days exploring Tokyo, then took the Shinkansen to Kyoto. I visited temples and gardens. I ate incredible food at restaurants where I had to point at pictures on the menu because I didn't speak Japanese. I got lost in Kyoto's bamboo groves and found my way out again. I stayed at the ryokan in Hakone and soaked in the hot spring under the stars, completely alone, completely at peace. I took photos. Not the performative kind I usually took for Instagram to prove to my family that I had a life. Real photos. Cherry blossoms against blue sky. A cat sleeping in a doorway in Yanaka. My feet in the onsen with Mount Fuji in the background. On the 4th day, I posted one photo to Instagram. Just one. The view from my ryokan. Finding peace in unexpected places. I captioned it. Within an hour, I had dozens of likes and comments from friends and coworkers. This is gorgeous. You deserve this. Living your best life. I also had 3 comments from my family. My mother. Nice to see you're enjoying yourself while we struggle with 5 children on this ship. Rachel. Must be nice to be so selfish. Amanda didn't comment, but she did unfollow me. I deleted their comments and restricted their accounts so they couldn't see my posts anymore. Then I put my phone away and went back to enjoying my evening. When I flew back to Seattle at the end of the week, I felt different. Lighter. Like I'd left something heavy in Japan and didn't need to carry it anymore. My inbox was flooded with emails from the cruise. Apparently, it had not gone well. According to the multiple messages from my mother and sisters, the kids had been impossible. Sophie threw a tantrum when she couldn't go to the kids' club because there was no adult to sign her in. Noah got seasick. Baby Max cried for 3 hours straight one night and woke up half the hallway. My mother herself had gotten sick from the stress of it all and spent 2 days in bed. This is your fault, my mother's email said. You knew we were counting on you. You knew we needed you. And you abandoned us for some selfish vacation. I have never been so disappointed in one of my children. I read the email twice, then archived it with the rest. The week after I got back, my father called my work line. He knew I'd screen a cell call from him, so he tried the office. My assistant put him through before I could stop her. Jessica, he said, we need to talk. Hi, Dad. Your mother is very upset. I know. She wants you to apologize. I leaned back in my office chair and looked out my window at the Seattle skyline. For what, exactly? For abandoning the family. For ruining her birthday cruise. I didn't abandon anyone, Dad. I chose not to be treated as free childcare, and I didn't ruin anything. You all still went on the cruise. It was very difficult without you there. Then maybe you all should have treated me better when you had the chance. There was a long silence. Then my father sighed. I know your mother can be harsh sometimes, but she loves you. Does she? Because it doesn't feel like love when she calls my sisters her real daughters and treats me like the help. She didn't mean that. Yes, she did. And you know it. You were sitting right there, Dad. You heard her say it, and you said nothing. Another long silence. I'm sorry, he finally said. I should have spoken up. You're right. I was a coward. Those words, coming from my father who never admitted fault about anything, broke something loose in my chest. Thank you, I said quietly. Will you come to Sunday dinner this week? We can talk about this as a family. No. Jessica. Dad, I love you. But I'm not going to sit at a table with people who think so little of me that they can exclude me from family planning. Call me not real family. And expect me to be grateful for the opportunity to serve them. Not anymore. So what are you saying? You're cutting us off? I'm saying I'm setting boundaries. If you want to have coffee with me, just you and me, I'd love that. But I'm not doing family dinners. I'm not doing holidays where I'm expected to babysit. I'm not doing any situation where I'm treated as less than. Your mother will never agree to that. I know. And that's her choice. Just like this is mine. My father was quiet for a long time. I'll think about the coffee. That's all I'm asking. He hung up without saying goodbye. That was 8 months ago. My father and I meet for coffee once a month. We talk about neutral things. His golf game. My work projects. The weather. We don't talk about my mother or my sisters. It's surface level, but it's something. It's more honesty than we ever had at those family dinners. My mother and I haven't spoken. She sends a text on my birthday every year. Happy birthday, Jessica. I hope you'll reconsider your selfish decisions someday. I don't respond. Amanda and Rachel have tried reaching out a few times, usually when they need something. Mom's not feeling well. Can you visit? It's Thanksgiving. Are you really going to skip it? Sophie's birthday is next month. Will you at least send a card? I send cards to my nieces and nephews. I don't attend the parties. The thing is, my life is better now. Objectively, measurably better. I got promoted 6 months ago, senior marketing director, 6-figure salary. I earned it because I stopped using all my energy trying to earn approval from people who would never give it. I traveled to Portugal last spring with Morgan. We spent 2 weeks eating pastéis de nata and hiking along the coast. No guilt, no pressure, just joy. I joined a book club. I started taking pottery classes on Thursday evenings. I say yes to drinks with coworkers, and no to obligations that drain me. Last month was my 31st birthday. I threw a party at my apartment. 23 people came. Friends, coworkers, my pottery teacher, the woman who owns the coffee shop I go to every morning. We ate too much food, drank too much wine, and laughed until my neighbors complained about the noise. It was the best birthday I've ever had. Not because I was surrounded by family, but because I was surrounded by people who value me, people who see me as whole, not as a means to an end, people who would never call me not real anything. I think about that night at Bella Rosa sometimes. I think about the look on my mother's face when I walked out. I think about all the years I spent trying to earn her approval, trying to prove I was worthy of belonging. And I realize now that I was asking the wrong question. The question was never whether I was worthy of their love. The question was whether they were worthy of mine. The answer, painful as it is no. They had 30 years to see me, to value me, to treat me as more than just the family member without kids who therefore must have unlimited time and energy to give. They chose not to. And I've finally chosen to stop waiting for them to change. Someone asked me recently if I regret it. Walking out of that restaurant, booking the Japan trip, cutting contact with most of my family. They asked if I miss them. The honest answer is complicated. I miss the idea of them. I miss the family I always hoped we could be, but I don't miss the reality of who they actually were to me. I don't miss being invisible. I don't miss being taken for granted. I don't miss the feeling of bracing myself every time my phone rang because I knew it would be another request, another expectation, another reminder that my time was worth less than theirs. What I have now is peace. It's quieter than I expected. Sometimes it feels lonely, but it's mine, and it's real. And that, I've learned, is worth more than being included in a family that never really saw me as equal anyway. I'm Jessica. I'm 31 years old. I'm a senior marketing director. I'm an aunt to 5 kids I love but see from a distance. I'm a daughter who chose self-respect over obligation. I'm a sister who walked away. And for the first time in my life, I'm exactly who I want to be.